Thank you. There was an attempt to clap. I believe we can clap better. So many beautiful and handsome faces, so many vibrant smiles, a beautiful day. Welcome. Judge and former coordinator of the Faculty of Law, Justice Dr. Fred Nyagaka, our founding dean and the keynote speaker for today, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Henry Kiplangat, the Provost, Reverend Justus Mutuku, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor John Ochola, members of the University Management, our Dean, Professor John Osogo Ambani, members of the Faculty of Law, the honors of the day, the alumni, students present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once more. Welcome. Welcome back home. I don't know how you're feeling being back to Kabarak University, whether you started in whether you joined in 2010 or you just recently graduated. We share something in common. We know these streets, we know the trees, we know that library, we know the chapel, and today we are back home. Let's clap for ourselves. Today we not only celebrate 15 years of this wonderful and great school, we also have been welcomed back home by the Faculty of Law, and we just want to appreciate that. Have you ever heard anyone saying, welcome home to the alumni? Have you ever had any other university? No, this is the first. So we feel very happy to be present and to be here today. And we want to celebrate and to have a very good time, but also we want to thank God for the fact that we have come. So my name is Marion B. Chepkemoi. I will be one of the moderators today. I shall be moderating this event alongside Miss Marion Joy, if you could just wave. And Mr. Kelly Malenya, could just wave. Thank you. So now that you know who will be coming on stage, I also want to know who is seated here. Who is seated here before we welcome our Reverend, our Provost, to start with a devotional thought. We want to see class of 20, which was the first year, when did the first class graduate? Who knows? 2013? Okay. Class of 2013. Anyone? Wow. Please just stand. Class of 2014. So we want to see how many are many here. It's a competition. So 3. Class of 2014. 5. 3 there and how many? Okay, now they've decided to stand up. That's class of 2014. 2. Class of 2015. Class of 2015. Those are 5. Class of 2016. 2016. Okay, another 5. Class of 2017. 4. There is an improvement today. I don't know if you remember. When we were launching the Alumni Association, how many came from the class of 2017? None. Class of 2017, thank you. Tuliwafanyia nini? Class of 2018. Class of 2018. Class of 2019. Class of 2019 there. Class of 2020. Eish. Okay. Today I have something that we'll say later about the class of 2020. I was seated next to someone who was in the class of 2020, and she whispered some things to me. You'll have to bribe me for me to tell you why they're here and in large numbers. Class of 2021. Wonderful. All right, okay. Class of 2022. Silence. Class of 2022. Who is the prefect today? Please just write somewhere. We need to go and ask what we did wrong. Anyway, class of 2022 not here. Class of 2023. Yeah, that's class of 2023 with Stanley over. No, yeah. Class of 2024. Wow. Hey. No, let them stand again. They're in KSL. Mulito happy fair. Mulito happy fair kweli. Mtuambie tu. Please, let's clap for them again. All right, and now those ones who are feeling like the spirit of graduating is almost attacking them. This is the year. You're counting days. Muna count down. Nana taniambia how many days to graduate. Ama wajasema which day. Wajasema which day mna graduate. Mume count. I'm quite excited. We'll graduate next year. Class of 2025. Those who are looking forward to graduating, please just stand. Class of 2025. Wow. Hey, you have finished the race. Congratulations. Now, aspiring graduates. But yani matatizo yanawakumba. Bado unajaribu kujua tort na contract. Jurisprudence inakusumbua. Philosopher. Nisitauliza maswali lakini. Anyone who is not graduating this year and you're present, I know you are there. No questions, I promise. Just stand. We want to celebrate you. Hey, shh. Thank you. Fun fact, they're supposed to be home, no? For the long holidays. So they have decided to join us. You're excellent students. Sawa. Now we know, and now we need to know who are our supporting team. If you're not in law school, but you're just here, and I see our security is here. Do you want to please stand and just wave at us? Thank you, both of you. Thank you. Our cameraman over there. Thank you so much. Now we know everyone is present. So welcome to today's session. As culture and as we always do, we shall begin with a devotional thought. And at this point, I'd like to welcome the Provost, Reverend Justus Mutuku.
To our chief guest today, the founding dean of the School of Law, Kabarak, our brother who has had a very good time with us as we prepared to come over to our vice chancellor and other invited guests. I know members of management are here and the justice is with us today. Allow me to first and foremost express my personal gratitude to God for an opportunity to stand before you again. It is nice to see people I saw in 2013 when I was barely 1 year old in this place. I remember their faces very well, Obati and my brother. Somebody described them as they were just tiny. And I'm grateful to see a number of you from 2013 all the way to 2024. I know some of you, we started in a place out there, not here. And it's nice to be in a good place and see the progress. Our Vice Chancellor would like to share 2 devotions. I will share one now, which I will just reflect on our roles as having gone through Kabarak University and what we are to be outside there. But later in the day in the program, you'll see, I will reflect on the greatness of God that is manifest in our lives today. And that's how we had arranged with the dean, so that I will share twice, but now, and then the other time I'll be leading you through a reflection on the journey we have taken in terms of the hand of the Lord. But allow me to undertake a reflection with us from 2 Corinthians chapter 5, very briefly, verse 16 to verse 20. As you turn there, I'm just doing that slowly, because when you leave Kabarak, you are not, when you are here, you are required to attend chapel and to be there for ministry. But now that you left, I don't know whether you will still attend. Maybe we need to take a roll call to find out what has been happening. But I was, Vice Chancellor, I must mention, when we were with you for the alumni, launching of the alumni forum, one of the things that really impressed me was a number of students came, and the thing they were appreciating is that they had opportunities to attend to the chapel. That moved my heart. And yesterday when we were in the meeting there in Nairobi, one of you kept sharing me, a number of you shared with me some of your experiences out there. And that's why I would like to focus on 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 16. From now on, we regard no one from a worldly point of view. Though we once regarded Christ in this way, we do so no longer. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone, the new has come. All this is from God, who reconciled us to himself and gave us the ministry of reconciliation. That God was reconciling the world to himself in Christ, not counting men's sins against them, and he has committed to us the message of reconciliation. We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. I know that's a huge passage, but I'm going to ask you to pay attention to verse 20, which is the focus of this reflection. We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us. But for me to capture that, I had to look at the bigger context. Those of you who have been following us online or were present here, remember that I did about 3 or 2 devotions in the last few days. And specifically, I was focusing on the believer's calling to be partakers in the mission of God. And it is true that our calling by God is not just to be believers, but to be involved in what he's doing. However, this calling can easily slip away from us, especially when we lose sight of our focus when we enter what we call the job market. We sometimes fail to seize opportunities that God has been placing before us in the spaces that he places us. One way to remain focused on our God-given mission is to cultivate something I'm calling for our purpose here, a God mission consciousness, or the mission of God consciousness. This is a resource that can keep a believer or even an alumni in focus, regardless of the spaces where the Lord places them. A God mission consciousness. It is what Paul reminds the Corinthian believers in the passage we just read. Paul uses a metaphor of ambassadorship to describe our relationship with the world around us. As ambassadors of Christ, we are entrusted with the ministry of representation. When you hear the word ambassador, you might think of a diplomat representing their nation in a foreign land. But similarly, as Christians, we are called to represent God in this world. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 20, Paul presents the followers of Christ with a mission and says they need to be conscious that they have been invited by God to partake with him. But allow me to reflect very briefly with you, what does it mean to be ambassadors of Christ, especially in the legal space or in the business space? How can we live out this truth in our day-to-day lives? How can this mission consciousness influence enable us to influence those around us? Paul wrote this letter around 55 AD, addressing the challenges facing the Corinthian community, and particularly the church. Through this letter, Paul not only encourages, but also challenges the believers not to abandon the calling they had from Jesus Christ. In chapter 5, friends, he emphasizes that followers of Christ are to live in a way that reflects Jesus to those around them, rather than living selfishly. There are some 3 elements that he highlights in verse 20. First, he says we must always be aware that we are ambassadors of Christ. Paul uses that analogy to illustrate the nature of our calling. Followers of Christ belong to another kingdom. Ambassadors hold an extremely important role, even as we think about them as representatives of their country. Likewise, Paul challenges the Corinthians in this setting to be representatives of Christ in a very difficult world. In fact, to use another word, he says you are to showcase Christ in the space where he places you. Secondly, he says, as though God was making an appeal through us. This phrase highlights the seriousness of our role, that it is originating from God, and it is God influencing the world through human agency. As God's spokesperson, everything we say and do communicates something about God to others. Paul is simply saying this is a privileged position, one we must never be ashamed to take lightly. And then finally he says, we implore you on behalf of Christ to be reconciled. In other words, ambassadors of Christ are agents of reconciliation. This role of reconciliation touches on matters of justice, fairness, rights, as we have been discussing, or even reconciliation requires a number of aspects, including restoring broken relationships. I've been thinking about you and praying about you when I heard about your coming, and one of the things I kept asking God is this one element. To help you in your practice and in your profession to maintain a God consciousness that reminds you I'm in a mission to do something great for God. So let me propose, as I see it, 5 ways you as alumni can embrace this idea of ambassadorship, being the representatives, the voice of God in the marketplace. Let me suggest 5 quickly. 1, the first way you can enhance this even after leaving Kabarak and being in the market right there with the challenges is first and foremost to strengthen your personal relationship with God. Because you're going to be representing him, you need to know him. You need to know him personally. Spend time with him. Invest your faith in your faith, and even make connections with God on a daily basis. Make it your priority. Let me repeat that again. Strengthen your personal relationship with God. That is critical in the market you are and in the challenges you face. Secondly, a second way to do this is to invest in relationships around you. God has placed you in a space where you interact with people of different faiths, walks, disciplines in terms of experiences, careers. And one aspect is we need to develop this investment in terms of building relationships around us. I think Jesus Christ gives us the best example of how that works. Paul also shares the same example in the same direction. Build genuine and loving relationship with the people you regularly encounter. This could be the receptionists, the secretaries, the people around the space that you work. 3, I'm just sharing this very briefly. A third way of just practicing this ambassadorship is to learn to ask questions. Engage people with the curiosity to understand their perspectives, especially those who believe differently from you. Just raise questions, understand their concerns, understand their worldview. Asking thoughtful questions creates meaningful dialogue. And I think that is one good way of reaching out and practicing our ambassadorship out there. 4, share your story. Share your story. Your testimony is more powerful than you realize. Just as Paul shared his story, we too can share naturally what God has done. I don't know whether you remember, Professor, sometime Paul got to a situation where he was sitting before several kings, Gentile kings. And all he did was just to share his story, his experience from his Damascus experience all the way. And by the end of the story, a lot had happened. You got a story to share, but you have to have a lot of wisdom on how to share your story in the marketplace. And finally, the biggest responsibility is to invite others. Extend invitation to people to step into spaces where they can encounter God. You may not ask them to come to your church. You may not ask them to jump into your prayer networks, but invite them to come to spaces where they can encounter God. Avoid arguments or forcing beliefs on others. If they decline, continue showing them love and kindness. That could be a way of showing this. Let me run those 5 again in a simple way that Paul is saying, you as practicing lawyers, as teachers, as businessmen, out there beyond Kabarak University, you have an analogy of other responsibility to showcase Christ in a very, very tough world. By 5 ways. Strengthening your personal relationship with God, investing in relationships with people around you, learning to ask good questions and constructive questions, prompting questions, share your story, and invite others to encounter God in these spaces. So as ambassadors, we challenge you. We are entrusted with a high calling of representing God in this world. This role requires commitment, intentionality, and love. And so let us live in such a way that our lives will become clear reflection of Christ, drawing others close to him. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much that you have allowed us to be alive and to come back to be a witness and a testimony that indeed you are at work in our lives. All the way from the dream of the late Mzee Moi of having a school of law, born from having a university, to the level where he had to engage even our founding dean, and many others who are sitting here who played key roles, to the level where we had students who have graduated to become even practicing lawyers. We are grateful to be reminded that one motive should run through in our lives, that we should never lose sight of our calling to be representatives of God. Thank you for choosing to place each one of us in a space that we can enact this influence. And as Paul reminds the children of God in Corinth, in a very corrupted setting where they were struggling with doctrinal issues, moral issues, political issues, religious issues, Paul reminded them not to lose sight in that battle of the fact that they were representative of a higher kingdom. We pray that you may ingrain in us this God mission consciousness in our law firms, in our offices, in our practice, in our time of learning, in our management, that we may be reminded every other time we are ambassadors of Christ. What a joy to know that in a nation, in a time, even when we celebrate 15 years of our being as a school of law, what a time to be reminded not to lose the core value, which is to remember we are ambassadors of Christ. And so we dedicate this session to you. We pray that you truly bless us as we listen, as we learn, as we hear from you. We hand over our lives to you. This we pray. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Thank you. One time, Vice Chancellor was told never leave the pulpit alone. I was at an experience in church where we left the pulpit and somebody took the microphone and they began their own things. That's why I had to wait for her to come to be sure I hand over to somebody. Please appreciate her for coming over.
Please appreciate that someone from our very own provost. I believe that by the time some of you were leaving, he was not yet the provost. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's his new title now. Let's clap for God. Let's clap for progress. Thank you so much, Provost, for your wonderful devotional thought. Always is thoughtful. Now I'd like to welcome the next speaker. Some of you have not met him before today. This is the first time you're seeing him. He joined Kabarak in 2021 as the Dean and Associate Professor of Public Law. Many know him as Professor John Osogo Ambani, and you know he's the Dean, but I'll tell you a fun fact about him that not many people will say. Relax. I'll not say many things. In as much as he loves reading, doing research and all that, he also loves music. He's a musician. He's also a designer. If you come here and find him working, he'll probably be listening to Rumba as he works. So help me welcome Professor John Osogo Ambani. Karibu.
If you listen to this lady, you have listened to a liar. Don't buy those. But Professor Wanyama had agreed to sing with me. We had agreed that we would sing one Rumba song with him, alive. I'm still waiting for that. Bwana Sifiwe. Bwana Sifiwe tena. Great to see you guys here. Last time you hosted us in Nairobi, and I think it's exciting to have you back to school. I think the VC will talk about that because he's the only one who can welcome you here. I remember there's an agreement that you would come to school and that we would receive you because you were talking about things we did not understand. They were talking about KLO 1, they were talking about KLO 2, and there was a disconnect. So it was agreed that you just come for yourselves and see that we talk about Sawia Auditorium, amphitheater, Katiba. I think you've seen that already. So from this time on, we can talk about the same place. Karibuni sana. If you permit me, I'll just say 1, 2, 3 things, but initially just let me mention some people here that I think deserve to be mentioned. The first one would be our host, the Vice Chancellor, who requires no introduction. I think just sitting where you are seated and looking where you're looking, you should be able to tell that there's a difference here. Is that so hard to see? Yeah. You can try another university. And starting with Nakuru. Yeah. I must confess that we're having a serious problem in the country. And yesterday I had to say that, and I'd like to do that because people are good at gossip. They don't say the good things about their leaders. Most of my friends don't even have salaries in the academy, or they are paid half salary or a percentage. By the time I went to the conference in Nairobi 2 days ago, I already had my salary. The only danger is that I eat it very fast. I chew it very fast, but it comes fast. And so I think we have the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kiplangat, to thank, and God above all, for the kind of wisdom is invested in him, and that is transferred that strategic management to this university. And he's here with a very able team. I can assure you, very, very serious people that are actually well-meaning. Professor John Ochola is there, my supervisor, Professor Keynote, the DVC administration, the provost, the registrar is here as well, and Professor Wanyama is here. And the one thing I can tell you about them, all of them, is that they just mean well. Just the other day I was calling Professor Keynote nearly in the evening. We need this. He was able to deliver. The other day I was calling Professor Kipchumba on a weekend. We need this because we had a serious engagement here. He didn't tell me I'm from church or I'm sleeping, it's my rest day. He actually acted immediately. Then the provost who comes here to pray for me every day. You'll be surprised. When I'm going down, people don't know that deans have problems. The deans gets problems, serious ones. But the provost is always here to know that the dean is safe. So we're actually surrounded by a very serious leadership team led by the Vice Chancellor himself. I meant to say that because every time I speak out there with my colleagues, fellow deans, they are crying of basic things. And then I think the VC today mentioned something, I think he didn't even realize it was worse elsewhere. Paper. To get paper in a dean's office is a crisis. In the other universities, you'll be surprised. Walk around and see. I don't have that problem. I just thought that we should give credit where it is due. Tuwapigie makofi. Thank you. When Professor Kiplangat asked that I come to see him to discuss the possibility that I could move from where I was, Strathmore, to here, I remembered a speech that I had to listen to today, which was my mentor that I will never get to meet, perhaps. Maybe I could. Mr. Obama, former President of the United States, speaking to the House of Commons. And do you know how he began? He said that the last 3 speakers to speak in the House of Commons, but they rarely invite outsiders, were Her Majesty the Queen, the Pope, and Nelson Mandela. Do you understand? And so when he received the invitation to speak to the House of Commons, he wondered whether it was the beginning of a very high bar or a very funny joke. So when the VC invited me to come here, I asked myself, this university was founded by Professor PLO Lumumba, my own teacher at the University of Nairobi. He was the founding dean. Okay? It has been founded by Justice Nyagaka, okay? Now judge at the Environment and Land Court. Professor Musili Wambua, my other friend, and now teaching at the university where I was, the University of Nairobi. He wasn't there then. I don't know why. I think he came after we left. Professor Lumumba maybe will clarify. Then Mr. Elisha Ongoya. Okay. Then Dr. Fancy To. I think Elisha requires no introduction to you. I saw you laughing. Dr. Fancy To, now ambassador in Geneva, Switzerland. So I wondered in my heart, but I didn't tell Professor Kiplangat because I would have lost the opportunity. Was he beginning a very funny joke by appointing me dean to follow in this, path that the great men have walked, and women, or it was another bar being set? Perhaps we'll get an answer another day, but I think it's still in my head. I think that's a good note to talk about my teacher, Professor PLO Lumumba, who I respect a lot. I hold him in very high regard. Just recently that I began to reflect on what is wrong with legal education. You meet students from other universities and they can barely communicate. Do you get the feeling? You go to court and, where did these people come from? So one day I was speaking to Professor Githumigai and he told me it is because they are missing top-notch academics to mentor them in campus. And the one thing I can tell you for free is that I was mentored by top-notch academics. And among them, one of the most visible was actually Professor PLO Lumumba. Kindly let us have this clap for him. Yeah. Thank you. If PLO taught you judicial review or administrative law, you will stop practicing everything else and just focus on administrative law. I hope you now understand Ongoya. He taught Ongoya as well. and you notice that they almost speak the same way, isn't it? Yeah, you even wanted to go back and learn the speech, and become better. PLO, one day, I'll face the mirror for a whole week, then come back to compete you. Yes, I'm really, really honored that my teacher agreed to our invitation to come and speak to us. To you, you are dean as well, founding, but to me, my teacher, the undergraduate program. And then we have my Lord, Justice Nyagaka, who has refused to be colonized, has refused to become a judge in the old sense. If you meet Justice Nyagaka, he remains the very simple person that you probably met, for those who met him here. He's remained humble, diligent, professional, and advancing the law on that end. Justice Nyagaka remains a very serious inspiration to me. And I said that, I think when we were planning, we had agreed that Justice Nyagaka must come and talk to us as well. Something people don't know, and I know that Professor Kiptionyi has mentioned this in my hearing, is that the law school was brought up by the School of Education. That is something many law students don't know right now. And Justice Nyagaka will tell you that he was coordinating the program while it was sitting there. Perhaps we need to go back one day to the School of Education when we are playing football and honor them first before we start insulting them, as we always do. I know there are local football politics here. When they play each other, they have rivalries among schools. But when you meet the School of Education, do not be as hard as you are on the School of Pharmacy. Because they are our founders. And I think, having said that, you'll allow me to just do what I need to do, which is to introduce the day to you. I'll be coming later to speak about something else that you've all been asking me to speak about, which is the master's programs. Every time the alumni call me, it's just that. So we said that we shall sneak some 30 or so minutes into this program to just highlight what we are doing in that regard. Now, let me laugh at you, alumni of Kabarak. The one thing I see every time I meet you is this word. Where is it? Biblical perspective. All the jokes, Provost, are actually... So I told myself today that I'm going to introduce the day in biblical perspective, what we are going to do. So if you look at the program keenly, all we want to do is just around 4 things today. Number 1 is just remembering our home. We're just coming back home, isn't it? Around February, I believe, our VC preached about Nehemiah, the book of Nehemiah, and then I decided I'll just read the whole of it. And then the provost came and preached an entire semester, I think, almost an entire semester on Nehemiah. And the one thing that stood out for me was remembering where you come from. When you get a call at home that the wall is depleted, will you come back to help? And I think that's the one thing I would like us to do today, to remember Kabarak as our home and to be available in case we are needed and to do the things that we are needed to do. The other thing you'll see on the program is that we are commemorating, 15th anniversary of Kabarak Law School. That's a good thing. Commemoration takes different forms, and we are thinking of different things that we hope will help us clarify or just consolidate. We were really trying to do that before you come. We haven't finished yet. You'll see a number of things around. One of them is like having plaques, having some photos around, things to remember alumni and colleagues or professors who have done things here, timelines to remember the different milestones that we've had as a school. So we want to commemorate. And when I think about commemoration, I think about the Last Supper, which I think is familiar to all of us. Remember? Do this in remembrance. It's always good to mark. It's always have good signs and symptoms, isn't it? Yeah, to mark a particular epoch. And that's exactly what we hope to do today as well. We hope to also remember students who excelled in different ways. school sub-presidents, valedictorians. Let's have a wall somewhere where our students' names are, and let that inspire future generations that it's possible to get a first class. Some people do not know you can get a first class because it's taken a bit long, but I think it's coming. Where is amen? Tracy, for the students here, please, it's possible, it's going to come. The other thing I think you'll see on the program is Thanksgiving. God has been faithful thus far, 15 years and counting. Yesterday, I spoke to one of our partners. She's in charge of Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, and she was here on Monday because we were working together she was funding actually the conference. She can't believe that this law school is 15 years old. She thinks it looks like it's very well settled. Okay. And I think that that fast growth is only because of God. Even giving you the right leaders at the right time is only God who has made that possible. Otherwise, you'll be getting people who come here and the institution is fighting and things are torn down and all that kind of things within a very short time. It's good to thank God. And I think the best illustration would be the story of the 10 lepers, isn't it? We better thank God for the good things he's done. Otherwise, he might change his mind. So let's be faithful. The other thing is that we shall also talk a bit about the future. And again, the Bible teaches us to plan, isn't it? Write down your plans, isn't it? Isn't it? If you don't have your plans, then God won't bless them. Have your plans, and then you'll meet God on the way. We're going to do that today. Then we'll have some, is it Isaiah, merrymaking, isn't it? Eat, drink, tomorrow we shall go. We're going to eat properly. Thank you. Thank you very much for the lawyers in the house who are eating. I've asked the catering department to get enough mbuzi, and we shall choma somewhere in the amphitheater, in our own space, isn't it? Thank you. So that's part of what we'll get. Cynthia, that's good. So I then just make one remark, which is remind us of what we stand for. I always do this commercial. I was told that you must speak until you look like a tired record, a broken record. Yeah. This is what we stand for as Kabarak Law School. Easier to deal with this. Excellent legal education, isn't it? Cutting edge, legal and interdisciplinary research, and then community service, all from ethical and biblical perspectives. That's what we stand for at the law school. When you talk to people out there kindly, spread the good message. One day I will revise this. My intention is to make research first, and once you have the knowledge, you teach it to communities, to people, to your students, and then you help the community with the ideas you've gathered. I think we can partner in all those areas. Now have a number of journals. Please, when you research or want to do a research project, please come. You can even fundraise or fund us. One of the donors for the project we had in Nairobi, actually about 1 million Kenya shillings yesterday. We had a lot of food, a lot of things in Nairobi. Was our alumni, Grace. Yeah, thank you. She's in an organization where they work on gender issues, and where's Mr. Kadima? Mr. Kadima, an alumni, is now HOD. They work together, and she gives us 1 million shillings. Actually pays the hotel directly, whatever we ate. It was coming to around 1 million shillings. All those costs that we spend there. So you can help us in the research side. You can also help us in teaching. Already a number of alumni have come back to teach with us. Mr. Kadima being one of them, Ms. Matoke, before there was Gino Kumu, and then there was also one other member who left earlier. And you can also give lectures and talks. We always have a lot of things, and some alumni have been helping with moot courts. I saw Mushiri here, I saw Marianne, I saw Marion B. So many of them have been helping here with coaching our moot court teams, and that has really worked well. In fact, if I was to single out Mushiri, where is he? I saw Mushiri somewhere. Yes, Thank you. Great. Mushiri and I coached the All-African team that went to South Africa. Is it 7 weeks? 7 weeks ago? And our student, Adeline Chelagat, where is she? Was ranked the best in Africa. Yeah, in the moot court. Thank you. Thank you. Great. The best in the whole of Africa. She was the best English litigator. So thank you very much. You can sit down. That shows you what we can do together when we collaborate and do things like that. But you can also come for master's programs, as which I'll be talking later, and just learn so that we can teach you as well. So it's a win-win, both sides. The other thing we can do together is community service. That's really where I need your help, especially those who are in this region and in Nairobi as well. One thing we've done in response to the communities here is that we've begun a law clinic, a law firm. It's called the Center for Legal Aid and Clinical Legal Education. Mr. Malenya is here, is the HOD. If you could just stand so they can see you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. We are doing legal aid once a month. Communities just come here and we solve their problems. Sometimes just lack of knowledge, but we're able to help with the students and colleagues. But we're also taking some cases to court. Pro bono, for free. When you look around, we have around 25 to 30 lecturers at a particular time. Nearly all of them are practicing, so we can help some needy people in our community get their problems solved. So we vet, then we go to court. I suspect there are going to be so many cases, we won't be able to do them on our own. We'll also need you to come and help us. And trust me, the community will appreciate. Just the last 3 days, we invited members from Baringo and Nakuru County to be here, around 100 of them each of those days, in our conference, talk about Katiba. And the one thing that my students were surprised, those who have talked to me, is that the villagers actually know constitutional issues. They were able to articulate them quite competently. But the most interesting part for me was, some of them said, they see this great university at a distance. They have never known what goes on inside or how it looks. They got a chance for 3 days to come here and sit with us. They are so excited. That's one of the reports I got. I think it's time we took that mandate forward, work with communities, let them trust that we mean well. We're just not people who wear suits, not just people who are in the ivory tower up there, but people who they can actually work with. So let's take that forward, and we'll need you a lot, especially if the cases are in the areas where you are or in the cities where you are. Kindly feel free to join us, and you can enroll with Malenya. Malenya, I think we can have some list of those who are willing, and then we can take as many cases as we can to help our community in the neighborhood. That's what I thought I should do, and then I can ask Marion Joy to come and apologize for the bad things she said in front of my bosses. Karibu. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Can we give the Dean a good round of applause? Now, my name is Malenya Kelly. I'm a member of faculty, and I'll also be one of the moderators today. Just before I introduce our next speaker, I just want to share something very brief. I have personally been reflecting on what makes a good law school. Of course, if you look around the world, so let's talk about, for example, Yale Law School. Yale Law School is one of the most respected law schools in the world. For their LLM program, they only admit about 25 students. And these 25 students are taught by about 80 professors. So they assign like 5 professors per student. And they have maintained that tradition for as long as they have been around. But come back to Kenya. How do we know that a law school, of course, especially now that we are having law schools being launched each and every other time. I'm not saying that those other schools, their programs are not okay, But I'm saying for Kabarak Law School particularly, we're only able to come up as a strong law school, first, by having a strong faculty, because law, as you know, is a professional career whereby you need constant mentorship, and the right mentorship. So when I stand here, I can say, Professor Ambani taught me. So he mentored me. Professor Ambani was taught by Professor P.L.O. Lumumba. So that cascades down. So when Professor Ambani also and I were having a discussion if I could join faculty, I also thought it was a big joke. So we had a conversation and he was telling me, and Dean is very intentional, so I didn't just join. So he said, you come, we are dating, let's date. Tuone kama hii dating yetu itakuwa marriage, ama itashindikana. So we had lengthy conversations, but he told me we want to establish a center, and we want to have a law clinic in the law school. So we don't want to teach our students just the theoretical aspects of law. We want to teach them the practical aspects of law. So that when they go outside there, the distinction between our graduates and the other graduates will be like the sun and rather the light and darkness. And I can gladly say that we are progressively making those steps. Right now in the country, I can say without contradiction, fear of contradiction, that we are among the best law schools. And I'll tell you why. I think last year, I used to work at a law firm called G&A, Advocates LLP. So they were hiring pupils. And consistently, we never used to have anyone go there as a pupil. So there was one of us, I think a number of us had applied, or rather of our students who had graduated, and they had not been shortlisted because of one reason or the other, maybe because of their application. So one of them talked to me, one of the graduates, and told me, I've applied at G&A, I have not been shortlisted, so can you kindly just ask if they can just shortlist me? So I took my phone and called one of the partners. He's called Moses Kipkogei, and I told Moses, I'm not intervening for you to take this student. I'm only saying one thing. Just put her on the short list. If she makes it, take her. If she doesn't, that's fine. So Moses agreed, and they put that lady, who was a graduate from our school, in the short list. And I can say, even as we speak today, Moses has confirmed to me that that was the best decision they ever made. So you can see that what we do here impacts what happens out there. So if we give you the right thing, we expect you out there to also have, or to be productive, or to be effective. People who can also do heavy lifting. Persons we can recommend. And you can ask any of these advocates here, or members of faculty here. Our profession is largely by referral. So an advocate would call you and say, I need a pupil, or I need an associate. Can you recommend this one and say that this one will do the work that is to be done? So as we keep on building this, what we need to know is that the credibility of your degree is as strong as the faculty, or rather the law school you come from. And I can confidently say, here at the law school, we are very deliberate in terms of the faculty that we have and everything that we have. Let me not bore you with many, no, I'm a storyteller. My students will tell you I like making stories, but to also inspire. I want to introduce our next guest to give his speech. That is Mr. Arnold Magina. Karibu sana. But even as Mr. Magina comes, I also have a story with Magina, by the way. Now, Magina and I, I can say we come from the same place. We are village mates. That is number one. But that is not what brought us together, interestingly, by the way. I didn't come to Kabarak, Magina came to Kabarak. We met with Magina sometime in the year 2015, here at Kabarak, when the law school had just started, and Ongoya was dean. And there was a project being run by the it was called Center for Constitutional Studies and Jurisprudence. And Mr. Magina and I had been tasked to do some work. And the work was we were supposed to to report on cases that had been adjudicated by our courts from the inception of the new constitution 2010 until 2015. So what we were doing is coming up with a catalog of cases that had interpreted the Bill of Rights. So that's how I met Mr. Magina here. Mr. Magina then working closely under Mr. Ongoya, and myself then working under Dr. Duncan Okubasu. And I can say that we had conversations. So what I always tell my students is, don't say you will be serious tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. Mostly it doesn't work that way. For you to be a serious advocate, you have to be a serious student. Don't say, nikigraduate, mutanitambua. Ama nikishakuwa lawyer. No. The people who are serious in my class in LLB are the same people who are serious, and they're the same people I've met here. Dr. Joshua Kembero was my classmate. He teaches here. Edmond Shikoli was my classmate. He teaches here. Cyril Kubai was my classmate, a year behind me, but my schoolmate. He teaches here. So utakuwa serious next year. Kukuwa serious unaanza sai as a student. So, Bwana Magina, karibu sana to make your remarks.
The VC, the DVCs, the administration, judge. I told you I'll just keep calling you Mwalimu. Even in court, I'll just call you Mwalimu. You'll forgive me for that. And our chief guest, our founding dean, at least I'm among those who are privileged to be called on graduation by you. You called out my name. And I can still remember that voice. Eh? You know, he speaks as if he's shouting, especially at the graduation square. These other deans, they were murmuring, but for you, when it came to the school of law, hata wale wazazi wenye walikuwa wamekaa chini ya mti, walikuwa nasikia majina zetu. We were the only ones who are privileged. Wengine ulikuwa nasikia wanaulizana, ulisikia jina lako ama bado? Sisi yetu tulisikia. Na kama mtu hako graduate, anasema sijasikia jina lako. Ungepata mtu kaando hapa naambia hapana kuna makosa mahali hapana. And the good thing about Kabarak is we were guaranteed that once you start, you will finish. Unless you made it your choice not to finish. My name is Arnold Magina. Among the pioneer students. I wanted to say founding students, no. Yes, among the pioneer students, and I'm glad to be accompanied by a few of us. I think for the sake of being pioneer students, just allow me to ask my colleagues to just stand. The class of 2013. The pioneer class. Thank you. You can have a seat. And before I proceed, allow me to ask the class of 2024 to stand. Makofi kwao. You can have a seat. The reason why I've asked those two classes to stand, because we started, correct? You are the youngest to join us as of last year, correct? Outside there. Those who are still in the school will be joining us shortly. All I can say is, you see this word that we keep making fun of, education in biblical perspective, you will appreciate it once you live here. True or false? Those of us who are out there, do we appreciate it now better than when we were here? Correct. I say that because I've interacted with our colleagues from other schools. I know it's being, are we streaming live? Huh? I don't want to make a joke. Then then I become attacked in the profession. We know how vicious our colleagues can be from some other university where Kelly you see, for us, we enjoyed learning. You see, these facilities, we enjoy being here. For you, you struggle. You trauma bonded with your lecturers. For us, we enjoyed. That's what you see. Before you came here, you had to go through counseling, correct? Yes, before joining the faculty, Kelly had to go for some counseling session. That's why even Prof here had to go to Strathmore first to be counseled and then come here. You could not just come from Moi straight here. But thank you. And one thing that stands out for me is growth. We all came here as small kids, as the provost stated. And all of us here, from the VC, we have grown throughout various ranks for us to be where we are. I remember most of us, the pioneer students, when we were here, our VC was the chief principal at the high school. And you'll agree with me, we just used to admire his posture, correct? Alikuwa anajibeba tu vizuri, unatamani tu hata wewe. Hata unasema, one day I want to be as composed as him, correct? So when we heard that you were now the VC, it was a joy to us. And of course, Wechola. We used to admire your suits. Correct. And Chef Kilot, tunawapenda sana. Ndio huyo. For the provost, when you joined us, you were also small. At least now we've added some weight. It's all part of growth. All I'm saying is this. This institution has transformed our lives in one way or another, correct? And all we can say is thank you to God and to the founder of this institution. That is the late retired President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. We enjoyed his sunset years, those of us who are here. When he used to come in that, those of us who just enjoyed that Range Rover of his, inashuka chini, alafu anashuka, tunamuona tu akipita. There are those of us who wanted to make it life because we saw he had a car that akitaka kushuka yenyewe inashuka chini kwanza, ndiye ashuke, alafu akitoka inarudi juu. Then when you used to move around, sometimes if you are lucky, you could get something, a handout here, a handout there. Along this street, we lived a good life. And when we joined, we used to have cards. And we had a free access mess. True or false? All you had to do is swipe. Unaenda unaacha hiyo kadi hapo kwa mlango na unaingia. And you could eat as much as possible. VC. Those were the good old days. Serikali ilibadilika. Wakasema unalipia ile pesa uko nayo. We had our colleague whom we remember for those days. He was, he made advances to a lady, and those advances were declined. So he was under stress. So he just went to the mess, placed his card there, then ate until he fainted. Those of us who know him, we don't want to mention his name. I'm sure he'll watch this video one day and remember, I'm talking to you, you know yourself. It's just you. We all have various memories of this institution. And until you leave, that's when you realize they were good memories. When you are here, you look at it like these people wanawakazia maisha, correct? Those of us who are still here, mnaona maisha ni ngumu, no, watupatie freedom until you leave this place and you're like, thank God I went through Kabarak University. Let's appreciate the university for what they did to us. To our founding dean, you laid a foundation for us. It was a department under the School of Education, but as the VC said this morning, you laid a good foundation for us. And those who came after you, they had something to start or a stepping stone for their works. I think for the faculty that you started teaching with, only 2 lecturers still remain within the school. That is Mzee mwenyewe, Elisha Ongoya. We still call him Mzee. Do you call him Mzee? Yes, Elisha Ongoya. And I think Jaini Shah came after you had left. Sibado yuko Shah. The mother, hata unaogopa kushout class yake, unaogopa hata kumiss lessons. But then she was strict. Because if you attend Ongoya's class and Shah's class, there's a total difference, correct? There's a motherliness that Shah comes with. Unafurahia hata ukimiss class, wewe unasikia uchungu umemiss class yake out of guilt, correct? And then if you miss Ongoya's class, unasikia uchungu umemiss sababu umemiss a lot, correct? So that either way you just have to attend their classes. And you'll appreciate sitting in those classes. So mine is to welcome you all back to Kabarak University. As your chair, I will be asking that we be easy to coordinate and manage. You know, dealing with the people, watu wazima wako na familia ni ngumu. Especially you are asking them to toe a line. They believe like it is my idea. No. We are connecting this thing through the university. The best we can do so that we stand out amongst all other alumni associations is to just coordinate well with the university. Or that when programs are rolled out, let's just participate. And if opportunities come for us to support the university, whether in kind through support that has been asked or sought, or even financially, please, let's rise to the occasion and support. To the future leaders of this association, mine is simple. Don't put your interest first. Put the interest of the university first. I have had the privilege of leading this association in the most unknown or murky waters because we don't have a head, we are just there trying to figure out. But with the support of the university, at least we have now some focus. Those leaders will come after me officially. Please put the interest of the university first, not your own interest. Let it not be a place or as a position for you to self-aggrandize, no. Let's just lead people to do the right thing. And those of us who are going to be led, please, let's just support the leadership that's going to come after us. And let's all aspire to make this association greater. Thank you so much, and have a good interaction. You are asked not to leave the microphone or the pulpit open. Karibu sana. And why is it that all the moderators are called Marion or Kelly? Hata unaitwa Marion na hatujui.
Thank you, Mr. Magira. Appreciate founding student. Thank you, Mr. Magina, for those wonderful remarks. I note that we have noted that we have a founding dean in our midst. We have another founding dean in our midst, although he's not the founding dean of the law school. He is a founding dean of the School of Music. Mr. Magina has spoken about memories that we left with from Kabarak. I know for sure all of you left with the memory of the music at Kabarak. You said yes, right? Yeah, we all left with that memory. Kudos to this man who's about to come onto the stage now. He has invested pretty much his professional life into music. For some of us, music is pure entertainment, but for him, it's not just entertainment, it's a serious calling. It's his research, it's what he does. And fun fact about him, he does not just teach music, he also has an Utafiti Foundation Publishers, where he publishes music research, and his main interest is in African music. I know you know those people who used to say, I don't listen to Kenyan music except for Sauti Sol and Nyashinsky. But we have someone here who will be listening to Shimalabando Band from somewhere in Western, or Bien. You know Bien? My day is good now. If he knows Bien, I'm very happy. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Professor Melitas Wanyama. Until he comes, until he comes, until he comes, until he comes. Yeah, that was my attempt at singing. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm glad to be here and to be part of this family. First of all, let me say that the chief guest, Vice Chancellor, University Management, distinguished guests, alumni, good afternoon. I hope I have covered everyone, but if not, niseme vile tunasema kwa Kiswahili nimezingatia itifaki. I come to you as another founding director, Directorate of Linkages, Partnerships and Alumni at Kabarak University. I served as a founding dean, and the chief guest we share. I don't think in this room there is another founding dean. Founding students, yes. At founding dean, I think we are the two. For me, founding dean, School of Music and Media. Founding dean, School of Law. We need to discuss and move on. I hope you like music. I like law. This position puts me in a unique position because one of my daughters, Molly Wanyama, now practicing in Nairobi, was in this school just like 4 years ago, and she did law, and she's excelling. Nairobi, the dean knows. I thought she's among the family here, but she told me she was not able to come. She always tells me that she's working hard to buy a better car. She says a car for lawyers. So I don't know what, but she talks of Audi. Yeah. So now I was invited here just to make remarks as the director of Linkages, Partnerships and Alumni at Kabarak University. After working for around 10 years as the founding dean and leaving, the university saw it fit to give me another challenge as founding. And you know what comes with that is looking around and making sure that things work. So when I was seated there, I was also learning from the presenters here on what I should do. But what comes out is that from my preliminary survey, because I've been in the office since June this year, just barely 2 months or 3 months, my survey is the School of Law at Kabarak University is the leading school as far as alumni organization is concerned. Without any doubt, the structures that the alumni have in the School of Law are way, way ahead of the rest of the schools. And it's a big advantage to me as the director because there's somewhere to start from. All the successes that the school has achieved will be the cornerstones or the building foundation on which other schools will build on. And we are not going to waste any time. School of Law will maintain your standards and even make them brighter and higher, but other schools will also join you. I am envisaging a situation where we have now the entire university, in terms of all the 7 schools, converging here with all the alumni from different schools and their leaders, and also giving the alumni a chance to participate in our university administration, linkages, sharing successes, mentoring other students, etc. And also even in our graduation functions, the alumni to have a space and many other things. So I have learned a lot from your presentations. I have just a few things to say. About 5 minutes will be enough. Then we continue engaging. I was asked to speak about the significance of alumni engagement and the role of strategic linkages. Alumni and strategic linkages are vital for universities to achieve their mission by acting as brand ambassadors, providing financial support, fostering industry education, partnerships, for mentorships and job opportunities, facilitating knowledge and skill sharing, and offering a lifelong learning community of graduates. Strategic engagement ensures a reciprocal relationship where alumni contribute resources and expertise to the university, while the institution provides value through networking, career support, and enhanced reputation. In a nutshell, the significance of alumni is propelled through the following. As brand ambassadors, alumni promote university's reputation and programs, attracting future students and partners. Through mentorship and networking, they serve as role models and mentors, guiding current students and creating valuable professional connections. 3, financial and resource support. Alumni can contribute through donations and fundraising, supporting the university's growth and development. 4, industry-university interface. The alumni build a critical bridge between academia and professional world, facilitating internships, job placement, and technology transfer. 5, skill and knowledge sharing. Alumni contribute to the university's knowledge base for sharing insights from their careers and participating in guest lectures. Now, let me turn to the role of strategic linkages. One, industry collaboration. Strategic linkages with alumni and their professional networks encourage research, technological advancements, and community outreach initiatives. Two, lifelong learning. These linkages create opportunities for graduates to continue learning through tailored programs, academic networks, and ongoing access to university resources. Three, entrepreneurship and innovation. Alumni can support the university's mission by fostering entrepreneurship, providing capital, and connecting students with startup opportunities. Three, mutual value proposition. A strong alumni relationship is built on a value proposition. For both sides, universities offer resources, prestige, and networking, while alumni provide expertise and support. Lastly, enhanced learning experience. The engagement of alumni with the institution ensures the curriculum remains relevant to the industry, and the graduates are well prepared for their careers. From those few remarks, you can infer what I wish to pursue as a university-wide goal for the alumni. Are we together? Is that the right thing to do? So for now, it suffices to end there so that we move on with the program. Again, I will hold the microphone until it is taken away.
Thank you, Founding Dean.
And Founding Director.
And Founding Director.
Linkages, partnerships.
Yes, but I am current Dean. Serving. Thank you. Asanteni sana, makofi kwa Professor Wanyama. I pray that we shall work with him, sindio? And it's very easy. You guys had girlfriends in School of Education and boyfriends, sindio? That is not biblical perspective. Okay. The provost has told me that you guys rarely marry each other. We used to. We used to marry, in the University of Nairobi at least. My own wife was 2 classes behind. Yeah, and most of my friends married. I think Professor Lumumba will tell you that that was a tradition. We had true love. We actually ended up in marriage. Yeah, yeah, thank you. I don't know. I'm coming here for something special, which is to introduce the Deputy Vice Chancellor, but I thought I could just introduce my lecturers, but I think they are all over the place because we have a lot of logistics to do before our ultimate bosses can speak. I thought it would be good to, yes, I think maybe I'll find another time to introduce my lecturers. As you can see, there's a lot of things going outside there, so maybe later. And then also, when we succeed, it's good to recognize our success. And in this group is a leader in the legal profession, Gloria Kimani, who is a member of council. Karibu. Yeah, karibu, Gloria. Gloria is a member of council in the LSK. That's a very coveted position in the legal profession. I think in this room only professor has been in that council, isn't it? Yes. So it's a very serious position. And today she's going to get an award in Nairobi. She'll tell you about it. So which means she'll have to leave early. I thought she could just say something, and then I can come back to invite the Deputy Vice Chancellor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean. I remember the first time we ever interacted. Definitely he didn't know us. But he came, Ongoya used to call him for what are they called? The guest lecturers. And we didn't know autochthony of the Constitution. So Mwalimu Ungoya used to say, we are bringing a lecturer to tell us about the autochthony of the Constitution. And then they had this camouflage, all of them. So later on, when I saw him, he didn't have that mustache. I'm like, no, this is not the Ambani who taught us autochthony of the Constitution. Now you see. So Gloria Kemani is my name. I serve you in council as a council member, representing Nairobi representatives. But I'm so glad that my journey was in Kabarak. One, thanking all of you because you are my constituents. And I used to go somewhere, I'm asked which school you're in. If I found somebody who was in Kabarak, it was an automatic. Atalikuwa ananiambia, don't waste your time. Wewe enda utafute kura kwa wengine. So it was such a blessing, and maybe at this point, I'd like to recognize the people who went before me. They vied, maybe they did not get, but for me, I think they paved a way for me. That was Nelson Ogutu, who went before me, and Philip Omoiti, who went before me. And I remember even my designer, I didn't have a designer. So I am wondering, okay, so who has gone this journey before me and I can relate to? Because at the end of the day, let's remember, we are not as many in the profession. So I knew my constituents, si wengi, and I needed to stand out in the things that I do. So I called Omoiti and I'm like, how does vying, when you're in Kabarak, you know we are not as many as when you hear those people that akwapi chief mkurugenzi alikuwa anaongelelea hapa ati the circumstances they studied under. So somebody would ask me, are you from Moi? I'd say, yes, I'm from Moi. We were with Moi. So meaning we are here in Kabarak. So a win is a win. So that's how, at times, I never disassociated myself with the name, and I went with it. For us, we had Moi, they had the name. And I think for us, it was a win for us. Anyway, I think my reflections will also be on leadership. I don't know if people know, when we came in, we had a president. He was named the Kulsa president. He was Chris Masita. For people who don't know Chris Masita, even ambassador saw Chris Masita and thought he's a lecturer. Chris Masita would wear a suit and come and have a commanding voice. So all of us first years feared this guy. And what people didn't know, there was that car office, Kulsa office. Is it still there? Masita would summon students. Disciplinary, it was a whole disciplinary thing. I remember my classmates, the people we were in class with, we had two classmates who, first year, I don't know how they got to know RAF. And they met and they would go and drink in RAF. Later, I was invited there. Whether I went or not is another story. I remember when they had that there are these first years who are there and they are drinking in RAF. They actually summoned them and told them, as law students, you cannot be seen in those dingy places. Whether they stopped going there, it's another story. You can ask us and we see if it worked. But it was just a surprise. And after Masita came the leadership of, who was our leader? I can't remember his name. Kiroko. We were together in that Kulsa. I remember, thank God, my leadership journey na kuomba kura haikuanza ati in LSK. So I remember, thank God, I went unopposed. Nobody wanted to take roles in moot court and things like that. So I was unopposed, and I thank God I went unopposed. However, there were elections, and they printed some papers, and they were begging people to go and vote. Some of us are asking, tupatiwe national elections sahi, tuende tupige kura. Then we were being begged. But then I remember, our council, well, it had its own challenges. But I remember Mwalimu Ongoya, who taught us judicial review. And one of the things of, one of the principles is to get notice and be informed. One day we were just summoned in, is it Kilo 1? No, the auditorium, that one for law school, what's its name? Yes, Kilo 5. All law students were called at Kilo 5. We are wondering, okay, why have we all been called? And I think class reps were summoned to call everyone, so we went. And that day we did not know. It was our last time in council. We were disbanded and we were told, there's no more Kulsa, you have caused us trouble in school and things, and we just left office. There was no recalling. We were not given an opportunity to present our case, to defend our case. Well, there were allegations of people eating money here and there, but for me, and I remember one time we were at the annual conference and I got to speak to Mwalimu Ongoya, and he actually apologized because some of us were actually serving in those places. But I also remember this, I'm just talking maybe of the leadership that we saw. There's a time law students wanted to vie now in Kuso, but they were being denied an opportunity to vie. So we had one of us, Alex, who was at judicial attachment. Hey, amekuja akeka makaratasi, the school has refused. Totally refused. But I don't know how he got his way. And he became, he was part of the candidates. And I think, Alex, ulikuwa hostels, mail, catering. Those were the days where we had a change of guard in catering, and I'm telling you, it's a whole story. So I remember they had refused, and law students were enraged. What do you mean one of us? The only one who wants to vie is not in the paper. And I remember we were all whipped to go vote for him. And I can truly say, even when we had many students in education, we won. But I was just informed right now, it's because unajua kwa siasa kuna sera na kuna sura. So nasikia first years waliona sura. Wakaenda tick, 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 and that's how he got in. And we thank God that we have been in this journey, and it has just been amazing. And just to say that you guys we have, even when we go out there and our name is called, I do want to say it's true that Kabarak right now is recognized as one of the schools that are leading universities. And that is very true, because for us, when we were going to apply for pupillage, you were asked, which school are you from? And you'd say Kabarak. They're like, private universities, we don't want. But you see, the more Kabarak has grown, the more people have come out. And I'm very grateful to say that Moot Court, I think we need a round of applause for our students who have been representing us in Moot Court. During our time, we really suffered, and I hope Moot Court students don't suffer these days. That even going to Nairobi, we had to get our own money to go there and represent the school. And I really do believe that there is a change that has happened. And let's continue supporting each other. I want to thank you all very much. And I would like to say my journey in LSK has taken a pause. I will not be coming for votes, but I want to thank you for all the time you voted for me. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, I was asked why I am leaving early today. I was recognized as top 40 under 40 women in Kenya for the Thank you. For the contributions that we have been making in the society, also standing with the rule of law when people are being arrested. LSK is part of the team that goes and represents people in court and in the police stations. And also, I am glad to say that I am an international and regional jurist. I know I cannot go to Tanzania anymore. But we believe that we will still fight and we will get justice for all those who have political prisoners. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you know, you know. She's one of our leading activists, and she's really saved a lot of people. Human rights defender. Thank you, Gloria. Keep doing the good job. But hey, just to emphasize 3 things there that I saw quickly from her. One, let's unite and support each other in work, but also political positions. I'm privy to Moi because I taught there. And since we were graduating around 500 a year, in no time Moi had the bulk of the legal professionals. And they would gang up and vote their candidate only. And their teachers. That's how agenda would win. You remember? Professor Rumba, I think you'll remember. The Moi students would gang up and vote their teachers, and eventually now began voting themselves. It's something you can do. And I like that tag. Tell them you're also Moi. I like that. We had the president himself. They had the name. That's a good one. I think I like that. The second one to emphasize is my students. I think there are a few current students here. Mumesikia? Walikuwa wanashika wale wapombe, wanarudisha huku. Provost, sir, that's one of the biggest battle I have here. To get my law students from Mama Pima huko nje. And maybe you don't know, I've made a personal decision to tell all my students to stay in campus. That's one of my policies. And I've told every parent, you disregard my advice at your own risk. Then also ask the good ones, like the ones here, to cheer on the others to come here so that we can create a community. And the Vice Chancellor has given us a good environment here. We can sit, we don't have to be in those funny places out there. So that should continue because you've heard that they did it. But finally, you mentioned moot court, and I can assure you, I hear about that history. I just hear, it's a rumor. We are over-supported in moot court at the moment, which is why, if you had my remarks earlier, I'm very grateful to our VC. Even as we speak, by the way, we have shot the budget by several millions for the moot court. Thank you. We overshot it. Yeah. The reason we do moot courts is that because moot court exposes our students to global levels. It gives them a confidence that is unrivaled. It hones their skills as lawyers, researchers, litigators, writers, and then it brings a new culture here. So I've been trying to get many students out there, and it's been working. I didn't even introduce my friend Tracy, who is in charge of moot courts. Can stand up. Yeah, Tracy is the representative of KULSA for moot courts, and she's been a great leader, and most importantly, by example. She just returned from Nuremberg, where they were number 2 in the whole world. Finalists. Yeah, finalists. In that competition, and I hope you guys can watch Tracy speaking. I can't even come near there. That competition, our student, she's not here, I believe. I think she got a job in one of the top law firms. She's called Faith Dubai. She was rated the best speaker in the whole world. Yeah. That is how many weeks ago? Just around 6 weeks ago. Yeah. So that's the latest trophy on my my table at the office. So we are getting all the support. In fact, beyond the support. And I think we should clap for the Vice Chancellor for the great job he's doing. I believe that's a good note to invite the leadership of this university to come and speak to us. And I'll first invite my immediate supervisor, Professor John Ochola. We share the name John, who is my mentor, my father as well. And we work closely together as the DVC academic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Dean of School of Law, Kabarak University, Professor John Osogo Ambani, Professor Henry Kiplangat, the Vice Chancellor, Kabarak University, Professor Patrick Loch Otieno Lumumba, also known as PLO, the founding dean of the School of Law, Kabarak University. And ladies and gentlemen, since it is a day of storytelling, let me also tell a little story about Professor Patrick Loch Otieno Lumumba, who is our keynote speaker today. A lot of good things have been said about him. And let me also add one more. He was the dean and also a lecturer. And on the day of his classes, students would fill the lecture theater until there was no more room. And then students from other schools would also fill the corridors to just listen to his lectures. So that's the kind of person we had as the founding dean in the School of Law. Members of the University Management Board present, Professor John Osogo Ambani, the Dean of School of Law, Justice Dr. Fred Nyagaka, the Judge of Environment and Land Court, and a founding faculty member here in our School of Law. And by the way, is now presiding over the High Court of Land and Environment in Homa Bay County, and that is my county. And he just brought me the good news that under his watch there, the magistrates court at Ndewa Law Courts is the best magistrates court in the entire republic. The founding and current members of faculty, Professor Melitus Wanyama, Director for Linkages Partnership and Alumni. Mr. Arnold Magina, the leader of Kabarak University Law School Association. Our esteemed School of Law alumni and our Vice Chancellor, including one and only advocate, Delbert Ochola. He of G&A Advocates LPP. I am mentioning him among the alumni because he bears a certain name. Our beloved students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I wrote this speech for the morning, but the School of Law seems to be operating on a different time zone. We are gathered here for a historic event in the life of this university. For the 25 years this university has been in existence, this is the first alumni homecoming event to take place in this university. For this reason, I congratulate the School of Law alumni for blazing the trail and opening a new chapter in the history of Kabarak University. Our chief host is none other than the Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Henry Kiplangat. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Kiplangat does not need any introduction, as he is our CEO and our academic father in this institution. All I can say is that Professor Kiplangat is a visionary leader with a golden touch. And you can underscore that. He assumed leadership in this university some 8 years ago. Not many years ago, just 8 years ago. And everything he has touched has turned into gold. He has touched the academic programs, and they have multiplied more than tenfold, and they have turned into gold. And that has made my day and my time here as the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academic affairs, it has made my work so easy, because all our academic programs have turned into gold. Professor Kiplangat has touched the university infrastructure, and every corner of the university has turned into gold. You just need to take a walk around the university to confirm that for yourself. Professor Kiplangat has touched the students, and the alumni of our university have turned into gold. Look at yourselves. All I am seeing is gold, the way you have turned up. And we thank God for our Vice Chancellor, Professor Henry Kiplangat. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give our Vice Chancellor a standing ovation as he comes to the podium. And let us put our hands together and clap for Professor Henry Kiplangat, the Vice Chancellor of Kabarak University.
Kindly take your seats. Professor PLO Lumumba, our keynote speaker, Bani, the dean, founding dean, who is now the founding dean School of Music and Media. Actually, you founded the School of Music and Performing Arts. It was not even School of Music and Media. And now the founding director for linkages, partnerships, and alumni activities, Professor Mellitus Wanyama. The founding and current members of faculty, Mr. Arnold Magina, the chairman, Kabarak University Law School Association, our esteemed School of Law alumni. I have some continuing students here. Please don't laugh at them because you were once in their shoes. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Just before I make my few remarks, I just want to thank God for the comments that were made by Professor John Wachola. All I have done is to serve as a team leader, and I have a great team of management. I have a great team of deans. I have a great team of academic staff, and they have supported me in our journey in making Kabarak University a great institution. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense pride and deep gratitude to God that we gather today for the momentous homecoming of our Kabarak University School of Law alumni and the founding members of the school. Welcome back to your alma mater. Did you like what you saw? Are you happy with the progress made? Do you know you are part of that progress? Yes, no? You are part of that progress because what were the gaps during your time became an inspiration for us to fill that gap. So you are part of the improvements. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is no greater joy than reconnecting with you, our brilliant minds who once graced our lecture halls and serene campus, now shaping the legal profession and impacting the society. Your presence on our campus is a testament to the enduring bond between Kabarak University and its beloved graduates. To all of you, I convey my heartfelt appreciation for establishing the Kabarak School of Law Alumni Association, an operational one. You are not existing by name, but you are active. This initiative reflects not only your pride and loyalty in your alma mater, but also your enduring appreciation for the academic foundation you received here. You are loyal for you to take that overall lead. And the university will support your activities within the confines of available resources. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to inform you that since your time as students and staff, Kabarak University has undergone transformative growth. We have expanded in student enrollment, faculty and staff appointments, academic programs, infrastructural development, all was 35 undergraduate degree programs, 1 postgraduate diploma program, 27 diploma programs, and 16 certificate programs. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just received some good news from the Commission for University Education that 2 new postgraduate programs have been approved, namely Master of Pharmacy in Pharmaceutical Manufacturing and Master of Science in Chemistry. I can't wait to announce the approval of master's programs and PhD programs in our own School of Law. I know a lot of work is going on. I have been encouraging the dean, pushing the dean, and the dean has worked, and he will be tabling those programs before the Academic and Research Committee and the University Senate for approval before we transmit or present to the Commission for University Education for approval. So the dean, you have my full support, now and always. So although the majority of our programs are offered through face-to-face and blended e-learning modes, a number of our programs are also offered through fully online e-learning mode. Now, most of our students are Kenyans, and we are very proud of it. We are also privileged to have a sizable number of international students at Kabarak University. At the moment, we have students from South Sudan, DRC, Tanzania, Nigeria, Rwanda, India, Portugal, and Somalia. And to uphold the highest academic standards, we have established the following directorates. We have the Center for Quality Assurance and Institutional Planning, headed by Director Dr. Akumu. We have the Directorate of Excellence in Teaching and Learning. That may be new to some of you who are not here before, who are not here recently. Then we have the Directorate for Online Studies, Kabarak University Online, the Directorate of Research, Innovation and Outreach, the Institute for Postgraduate Studies, and the Directorate for Partnerships, Linkages, and Alumni. This is a very young one. Professor Wanyama has not even completed one semester in that office. In fact, the office is still being set up. He's a squatter now. He's a nomad, but very soon your office will be functional. Additionally, Kabarak University is ISO 2015 certified, a milestone we achieved on November 7th, 2017, and kept valid through regular renewals. And this certification signifies our adherence to national and international quality benchmarks, our commitment to meeting and exceeding stakeholder expectations, and thirdly, full compliance with regulatory standards. We are in good standing with all the regulatory bodies, including the Council for Legal Education. Am I right? Yes, we have a good standing. And by the way, our law program is approved by
CLE and also CUE current. So I know they are coming soon to do an inspection, and I'm sure they will accept. They will continue giving us the certificate to continue operating. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Kabarak University School of Law is clocking its 15th birthday this year, tracing its birth date to the year 2010. You share a birthday almost with the Constitution 2010. Constitution 2010 is turned 15 on 27th. So you are a few months older than the Constitution. So with focused leadership, resilience, and a clear roadmap for the school, we have made great strides in the development of the school. Today, we can say with certainty that our School of Law has come of age, complete with an alumni association of its own. We can comfortably host international events such as the 2024 edition of the world-famous Africa Regional Rounds of the John H. Jackson Moot Court Competition, which was hosted last year, 2024. We have also constructed a landmark convocation hall with a seating capacity of 6,000 people. We have created safe pedestrian walkways around the university and upgraded the sports facilities. I invite you to take a walk around campus to see for yourselves the improvements that have taken place in your alma mater. I hope you will have time to walk around. But please don't blame us for not having these facilities during your time. We normally say that the Lord's timing is the best, but of course, it would be important also for you to go back to your alma mater and see some developments, because we operate under the principle of continual improvement. As you can see for yourselves today, we have done what is possible within the confines of our resources. We have completed the construction of the twin buildings for the School of Law and have furnished them to international standards. I am sure you are enjoying the facilities during your stay, are you? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, alumni are the backbone of this institution. Your expertise, your experience, and networks are invaluable as we shape the future of legal education. We invite you to engage with us in the following. Number one, in the Key Stakeholders Forum for Curriculum Development and Review. In fact, concerning the master's programs that are being developed, your input is so important. And I am sure the Dean will use this opportunity to get your views that should be incorporated in the master's programs to be rolled out in our School of Law. We also invite you to engage with us in tracer studies so we can have bragging rights, knowing where you are and the exploits you are making in the field. In fact, I'm grateful to God that I came yesterday to Nairobi, and I'm also in this function, because I've discovered one of our own is in the Council of LSK. You must be the youngest. Where is she gone? I saw her somewhere. I think she's left. She just left. And she has also been recognized as, for an award for those who are top 40, under 40. So we can guess her name. Her age is it's below 40. But she's below 40 years of age. That is great. And then number 3, we also invite you to engage with us in mentorship and internship programs for your younger colleagues. And we would like to invite you also to engage with us in marketing, promoting, and supporting the university and our academic programs, and also in enrolling in the forthcoming master's degree programs in the School of Law. Those of you who have not attained or earned their master's degrees, once we roll out these master's programs, we look forward to enrolling you as our postgraduate students. And I will discuss with the Dean to find a possibility of giving you some discounts should you enroll in our postgraduate programs. And in order to attract as many of you as possible, we will peg the discount to the numbers registered. So that you can also market and encourage yourself to come and study. We are also inviting you to engage with us in contributing at either personal or group level in any other way. Because I want to open it up. I cannot confine you to certain areas. Perhaps you have a great idea that you want to share with us. Please share with us. We are open to new ideas, and if they are workable, we will definitely take it and implement. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, your involvement in the university adds great value to us, ensuring that Kabarak remains at the forefront of legal education, producing graduates who are not only skilled, but also ethically grounded, in line with our vision and mission. Once again, we celebrate your achievements. Whether you are championing justice, influencing policy, or driving societal change, you embody Kabarak's values. You are our pride, and your success is our success. You have my unwavering support and that of the entire university leadership. And I would like to thank you so much for honoring us with your presence, and we eagerly anticipate deeper collaboration in the years ahead. Let me say this. This year alone, our law students have participated in several international moot court competitions. And one of our students is a global champion. Kindly stand. I think I saw her somewhere there. By the way, I would like, when will you graduate? This year, December. Please buy a new graduation attire, because I will read out your name. I will put your name in my graduation speech. So get ready. There was somebody else who was number 2. No, she was number 1. This one was number 1. There was another number 2. You will give us the names. Mm-hmm. Correct. So yes, please. No problem. I'll mention both of them. So please tell her as well. I have to be fair to all my children, right? So it's very important. But this is a challenge I want to give to the law school. I think the students went to Austria, they went to Switzerland, they went to Germany, I think, South Africa also, all 1 year. So we have funded, and we truly appreciate the effort you are making. I would like to challenge the school to work so hard in those moot court competitions so that we can win a global award as a team. Individuals, yes, you can continue winning as individuals, that's fine. But I want the Kabarak University team to be declared the winner. I think that's something we have not achieved. Kelly, I always approve your requests. So we will support you, and I'm sure you can work with the alumni members to ensure that is achieved. That's a dream. And you remember, Professor Ambani, when I met you in my office, I asked you to develop a world-class law school. And keep on standing. He has not let me down. Can you clap for him? Yeah. Thank you very much. Please take a seat. And I want to tell you, keep on standing. I am glad you recognize that your success is also because you are standing on the shoulders of those who were in your position before. PLO, a great man I respect. I listen to his speeches. You don't know PLO. You're the only person who forces me to be in YouTube. I'm not a YouTuber, because I listen to you, great ideas, eloquent man, a fellow Kenyan who is making even people to cry in other countries because of the speeches he delivers. He is pricking the conscience of the African leaders, especially when it comes to integrity in leadership. And of course, Justice Nyaga. You know, this man is the founding coordinator of the School of Law. So yeah, when it was a department in the School of Education. Thank you very much. This success that we are celebrating today has something to do with you. So wherever you serve in this country, I'm sure in your CV, in your life, there is a space for Kabarak University. Thank you very much, Dean. You can take a seat. So, mine is to pronounce blessings upon you. You are my sons and daughters, and God has given me an authority over you, and I want to exercise that authority responsibly by pronouncing bountiful blessings upon you in your exploits for the glory of God. So be blessed. Have you received those blessings? And do you believe them? Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, at this point, I would like to, and by the way, just before I introduce a speaker, thank you very much for Dean, because I remember when we met. When did we meet in Nairobi? Was it May or June? It was May. Let me take May. I requested you to come home, and you have come home. Thank you very much. And I would also like to assure you that we have a great office for the Alumni Association within the School of Law. And that one of your own is going to be your link person, Cedric. Mr. Kadima. He also sneak. Yeah, it's working. So it's the one who is almost like you in terms of age. There's no my difference. I'm sure if Professor Mbani was your coordinator, you would fear him. But I think for Cedric, you can joke with him. And you guys, I didn't know you are clowns. And cartoons. You make jokes. Even when something is not a joke, it sounds like a joke. So thank you very much. Let me now take this opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker is Professor Patrick Loch Otieno Lumumba. Professor Lumumba is a Kenyan lawyer par excellence. He is a former director of the Kenya School of Law, where he served from 2014 to 2018. He also served as a director of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission from July 2010 to August 2011. Professor Lumumba earned his LLB and LLM degrees at the University of Nairobi, and he holds a PhD in laws from the University of Ghent in Belgium. Professor Lumumba is a notable Pan-Africanist and has delivered several speeches alluding to or about African solutions to African problems. Above all, Professor Lumumba is a founding dean of the School of Law, Kabarak University. He served in that capacity from 12th of May 2010 to December the 2nd, 2013. Professor Lumumba is a man with green hands. The seed he planted in this university germinated as a department of law in the School of Education. The seed outgrew the School of Education and was transplanted as a school of its own, known as a School of Law. We are blessed and honored this morning to have Professor Lumumba as our keynote speaker. Please help me in welcoming Professor PLO Lumumba to the stage.
Thank you very much. You may resume your seats. If I was in Nigeria, I'd say I stand by the protocols already established. But I would then proceed to recognize the Vice Chancellor of Kabarak University, Professor Kiplagan. Permit me also to recognize the DVCs here present, Professor Chola, Professor Chepkilot, and also to recognize my very good student, Professor John Osogo Ambani, as indeed I must recognize Professor Kipchumba, the Provost, my good friend Reverend Mutuku, and Professor Wanyama, and the leadership of the Alumni Association and the alumni and those who have yet to graduate. It gladdens my heart to be present in this assembly. For purposes of history, I've written a long speech which will be circulated so that this matter is actually immortalized in the written word. What I'll do, therefore, is simply to share what I consider to be the key issues, starting with how I became the founding dean of this institution. Many may not know, but it happened in very interesting ways. The first time I met the late President Daniel Arap Moi was on Sunday, the 9th day of December, 1984. I was then a student leader at the University of Nairobi, and President Daniel Arap Moi had been invited by the then President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Mwalimu Julius Kabarak Nyerere. The students at the University of Dar es Salaam asked that the student leadership at the University of Nairobi be invited to accompany the president. And the president approached us through the then Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Professor Joseph Maina Mungai. We were invited. We did not have passports. They were processed very quickly, and we accompanied President Daniel Arap Moi to Dar es Salaam. But we were amongst the crowd. And I remember the then chair of the students' body of Dar es Salaam, John Agrimwanri, stood to address the audience. And after he had addressed the audience, he invited me to speak. And I spoke in Kiswahili. And when I did, Mwalimu Nyerere said, "We Mkenya unazungumza Kiswahili kizuri namna hii. Umejifunza wapi? Naomba kukuona baada ya mkutano." And Nyerere then asked me to remain and to go to Nairobi the following day. I think that is when Moi, the president, then said, "Who is this young man?" And he is recognized by a foreign leader. The following day, on Tuesday the 11th, he invited us to State House in Nairobi. The rest then became history. We graduated and joined the profession. And in 1990 and 1991, I then joined the Council of the Law Society. In those days, people did not vote or campaign in the manner that I see. Voting was by post. And we were very few of us in those early days. I remember the council at that time was myself, Paul Kivugimwite, Willie Munyoki Mutunga, Paul Kagwe, Martha Karua, GBM Karaoke, and of course, Gibson Kamau Kuria. That was our council. And this was in the run-up to the multi-party elections. And if you read The Advocate, which I edited, The Advocate, the magazine of the Law Society at that time, the version that I edited on the 9th of November, 1992, you will see how we were involved in that process. I say this because it is relevant. It is during that period that I started something that I continue to do today, to write letters about things when I'm dissatisfied. I wrote a letter to President Daniel Arap Moi at a time when individuals had been detained. And I said, this was my letter, I found it recently and is going to be part of my book to President Daniel Arap Moi. I told him, Your Excellency, although I recognize that detention without trial is in accordance with the law, the individuals that you have ordered to be detained are individuals who, in my view, ought not to be detained, because in future, they will claim to be leaders of this country by dint of detention only. And that is how wrong leadership emerges in countries. History has proved me wrong, proved me right, actually. He called me through the then permanent secretary. No, he was not permanent secretary. He called me through the then provincial commissioner of Rift Valley, the late Hezekiah Oyugi, to visit him at Harambee House, 2nd floor, and to explain myself. And I said, Your Excellency, what I'm saying is right, because I know these individuals, what they are saying, they cannot overthrow your government. They are merely airing their views. And at that time, in the Law Society of Kenya, we were active. If you see some of the photos, you'll see but in a disciplined way. He told me, I've had you. Our relationship became stronger. In 1992, when there were ethnic clashes, he then asked me to represent some individuals in his cabinet as a lawyer. I ended up representing the late William Ntumama here in Nakuru, the Akiumi Commission, the late Mohammed and the late Nicholas Biwott in the Akiumi Commission. And in that way, I then knew him and he started knowing me a little better. So he said, yule kijana ambaye anazungumza kwa ukali lakini ukimwona ni mdogo tu. It's coming very close to how I then got invited here. Number one, when we were doing the Constitution in the year 2001, I was to replace the then secretary, and 3 names were presented to President Daniel Arap Moi. And a particular politician from my rural home did not want me to be appointed. So when the names were presented to him, that politician ran to State House and said, this young man should not be appointed. I got a call from his office at noon asking me to listen to the news at 1. And indeed, I was appointed the Secretary of the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission. We were 114 of us who had competed, was a short list of 3. Then I became the Secretary of the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission. And in that regard, President Daniel Arap Moi knew me, and once again, After I'd gone through the process, the president then did, after I'd gone through the interviews, considered me a friend. And when he wanted to found the school, he invited me at his residence here in Kabarak. And he told me, I want you to come to Kabarak and start a law school. But I said, Your Excellency, your salaries are very low. How will I survive in this arrangement? And I'm not just about to abandon my practice. He says, wewe kaa kimya. Mishahara itakuwa tu hivyo ili isiharibike kwa makaratasi, lakini nitakuwa na arrangement nje. And indeed, during the entire period, my salary, unknown to Ronald and unknown to everybody else, I was paid salary like everybody else, but every 3 months, he gave me a check of $500,000. So that is how I became the founding dean. And in many ways, I started asking my students, my good friend Ongoya is me who asked him to come here. I'm the one who asked Professor Musili Wambua to take over. And it gladdens my heart, therefore, as the saying goes, there is no greater recompense for a teacher than to produce students who surpass him or her. And I must say that what I've seen here is a testament to the fact that when you have things done right, they turn out right. In those days, the good professor here was the head of the high school. And even in those days, the high school had the highest reputation. It was an academic mecca because he presided with distinction. Professor Ochola was right. Those of you who are students of Greek mythology will remember the origin of the word Midas touch. There are those who, whatever they touch, turns into gold. Professor Kiplagan is such a one as that. And you can see what has happened with this university. And he has a knack for identifying the right people. Professor John Osogo Ambani stands out as one of the most prolific academics in this country. He writes, the mantra in the academy is that you publish or perish. And he publishes. But it would be remiss on my part if I did not mention that when I came, the gentleman who received me was now Dr. Nyagaka, the Honorable Judge. His humility personified. And he continues to serve with distinction as a judge and as an academic. That is rare. So we are here today to remind ourselves that it doesn't get wrong, it starts wrong. It started right, and it will continue to be good. This university now stands out and shines like a pink poodle in a manner that is unique and titillating at once. Unique because there is no shortage of law schools in this republic. But they have distinguished themselves not by saying they are good, but by doing things that make them good. It is the great American essayist Ralph Waldo Emerson who is reputed to have said that when you make a better mousetrap than your neighbor, even if you live in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to where you live. Today, the world is making a beaten path to Kabarak Law School because you have made programs that are unique, because your delivery is unique. And if you ever doubted your uniqueness, that you are competing with your village mates and that you are a village champion, no, you are not. You have gone out there and amazed the world. That is why we can point out to these young ladies, you went to Nuremberg and the world said, behold, a great lady. You went to South Africa and the world had no choice. Grudgingly, they said, behold, a good lady. And as the Vice Chancellor said, sooner rather than later, you will go out there and the world will have to say, behold, a great law school. I look forward to those days. We live today in a country where we are suffering from what I call moral relativism, where there is no truth, the truth depends. But it gladdens my heart that here, the truth does not depend. The truth is the truth. And that is drawn from your biblical perspective, because there are moral anchors. There are things that you will not do because they are not the right things to be done. It used to be said, and I think it's Luther King who said it so very dramatically, that cowardice asks, is it convenient? Vanity asks, is it politic? And of course, egoism asks, is it popular? But conscience asks, is it right? Here, and you say to yourselves, it is ethical. No country, no people can live without having certain ethos. We live in a world where we worship latter-day mammon, money and things. But remember, greed takes you nowhere. Solomon, to whom we attribute unparalleled intelligence, said, it is vanity of vanities. If it is wives, he had 700 of them and 300 concubines, Solomon, son of David. So sensual pleasure, he knew it. You pretenders will never reach that space. If it is material wealth, he had it. But ultimately, he says, vanity of vanities. So go out there as you serve. Ask yourself the immortal question. Is the society better because I lived? Or the society is poorer because I lived? My former teacher, Professor Jackson Boma Ojwang, used to tell me, at that time I was the only student in jurisprudence in my master's class. I had 3 teachers, Dietrich Kapela, Professor Jackson Boma Ojwang, and Kivuza Kibwana. I was the only student. And they used to tell me, particularly Ojwang, there is no competition at the top. Competition is only here. Make sure you are at the top. And when you are at the top, the world will look for you. both your enemies, real or imagined, known and unknown, when they are sleeping, they will gradually say, behold, a great God. Behold, a great man. And there is nothing that gladdens the heart than when your enemies admit that he is a fool, but he is good. A contradiction in terms. So today, as we celebrate 15 years, we also should look to the future. Because the future is a child of the present, with the past as the grandparent. And when we recognize that, what we should be looking at as we stand on this podium, in 15 years and beyond, what will Kabarak be? And today we are living in the world of artificial intelligence. I look forward to the day when the master's program is approved, that one of the courses will be the law and artificial intelligence. I look forward to when it is approved that one of the other core courses will be the African Union and Africa Continental Free Trade Area. I look forward to that day. Let it be said of Kabarak Law School that it does not follow the beaten path, but it blazes new paths in the hands of Professor John Osogo-Ambani. I have no doubt. He is a good midwife, and the role of a midwife is to ensure that the baby is born and it lives. The midwife is neither the father nor the mother. But the role and joy of a midwife is to ensure that the baby is born. And close to him, watching over him, and ensuring that all is done, is a man whom history will one day say of that he was a great educator, Professor Henry Kiplagat. You know, as I conclude, Chinua Lumogu Albert Achebe, known to the world as Chinua Achebe, once said, and I said it a little earlier, is that when you look at the mouth of a king, and it must apply to the queen, you cannot believe that even the king or the queen suckled the mother's breasts. Today, when you look at Kabarak at 15 years of age, you cannot believe that at one time it only had no more than 10 students. Today, the world is coming here because there is something good here. And that something good here, you are the ambassadors of that thing. Let it be said that when you see a Kabarak University graduate, that he or she is a personification of excellence. Let it be said that he or she is a personification of humility, that he or she is a personification of that which is good. Because, as was said by the provost, you are ambassadors. And you are ambassadors extraordinary and plenipotentiary. Go out there and do that which is good and right. I'm happy to be present at this assembly because this is a good assembly. It is an assembly of great men and great women. It is an assembly of individuals who have distinguished themselves. It is an assembly that gratifies one, enriches one, energizes one, and uplifts one. I am happy to be present. And you, John Osogo-Ambani, rise. Out there, in the knowledge that you have scaled many mountains, but there are more mountains to be scaled. You, Professor Kiplagat, rise and go out there in the knowledge that you are the great Iroko tree upon which many birds perch. Let the hawk perch, and let the eagle perch, and let all birds perch, that it may be said of the great Iroko that you are a great habitat. Be blessed.
Another resounding applause, please. Thank you. Please have your seats. Wow. What can we say? Rise? What words have you picked? Rise. This side? Behold. Sorry, what? I didn't get the word. Titillating. Which other words here? Sorry? Potential. I can't even say it. I feel very, I was thinking to myself, this is going to be one of the greatest tasks ever in my life, to speak after you. What am I going to say? How am I going to speak? That has been very, very... I just rise. And so I did. That was very inspiring, very eloquent of you. I know you've had that so many times, but to listen to you in person is actually a different experience. And to imagine that he was walking on the streets and seeing these trees, and interacting with the people who've been here before, we can all get there and even surpass it. No? Yes, we can. Yes? Yes. Thank you so, so much. May God abundantly bless you. And even to you, please don't rise, but I'm saying, rise, continue rising. I do not want to order you to stand, but keep soaring and soaring and soaring, because as you sow, so do we. Yeah? As you sow, so do we. Because we see and we follow your footsteps, and we even, we get really, really inspired, and thank you so much. Thank you to also everyone who's spoken before him. Thank you to the VC. Thank you to the DVC. Thank you to our dean. We are truly, truly, truly blessed as a university. We are truly blessed. Now, I know you're feeling, your spirits are very high. You have been nourished intellectually, emotionally, I hope. I hope you're still having the right vibe. Are you still feeling nostalgic? By the way, Mr. Pielo, do you know the word vibe? Vibe, vibe? I think some of these words that we use every time are not in his dictionary. When he was talking about enemies, Marion Joy and I were telling ourselves, what he means is our enemies will suffer. Because there's a song called All My Enemies Are Suffering. But he's just saying these enemies, they will say this person is a fool, but he's still good. No, what he means is our enemies will suffer. Because we will not play it here, but go listen to it later. Yes, and so we now want to go and nourish our bodies. It's lunchtime. The person who's celebrating here about food. Yes. So now we want to break for lunch. Please go and get nourished. Eat to your fill. I think the dean allowed us to eat and eat and eat some more. And I also have good news that this is not the last meal we will eat. We also have nyama choma. Imagine, guys, we were welcomed home, and then they made a nyama choma for us. You guys. So now we have lunch now, and then we shall have a barbecue at 4:30 p.m. So we're just telling you so that you can see how you manage your appetite. Yeah. But then please keep the spirits high. Keep feeling hungry for more intellectual nourishment, because in the afternoon, we shall be listening from the good justice. We shall also have a panel here where we will now get to listen from you. How are you feeling? What do you remember? What do you see about the future? And we will wrap up the day later on by doing a nice tour. I hope you all have the program. So please do not be in a hurry to leave. This is our homecoming. I will now pray for lunch. We will have lunch at those who are here earlier call it Kalo 5. Even me, I knew it as Kalo 5, by the way. And I only graduated in 2023. You can imagine how fast things go. So Kalo 5, now known as Baraza Low. Baraza Hall. So now we shall be going to Baraza Hall, also known as Kalo 5. And we shall have the VIP having the Anne, please Anne, stand. We will first have the VIP leaving, so Anne will direct the VIP where they're going to have lunch, then the rest of us, we shall go to Kalo 5. Please let us stand so that I can pray for lunch. Sorry? It's called where the VIP are going to eat. The VIP will eat from the senior common room. I'm also learning my way around. Yeah, so let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we come before you today. We say thank you for the gift of life. Thank you, God, because of your love, your mercy, and grace. Thank you, God, because of the beautiful day that we continue to have, Jehovah Father, even as we celebrate 15 years of existing, oh Lord, and doing great things, Jehovah Father. And so, Lord, even as we go for lunch, we pray that you may bless it. Bless those who prepared it, Jehovah Father. May you keep us in one spirit, oh Lord, and even as we come back, we shall continue to thank you. This we pray, believing and trusting in Jesus' name. Amen. You may be seated. Let's have that way. All right. You may all